welcome to Logos Laura. Happy to have you with me once again. I just want to say to all the families who have lost a loved one, a friend through the virus COVID-19, I just want to say that may God give you all the strength to go through and to overcome, and this too shall pass. So we have that hope that God is with us and He's able to keep us and to see us through all difficulties in life. Tonight I just want to share on the first video, touch on it a bit and just go a little more in depth. So we spoke about severing the cords and being aware of who is on your bus through your life journey. And tonight I just want to go a little more in depth into that. So we spoke about severing the cords, and we answered the question, what is severing the cords? And we say severing the cords is actually being aware of relationships in your life, right, that it has connections that is either positive to you or negative, right? It might be holding you back, or it might be just time for you to move on, and you cannot move on because of these connections, these cords. So tonight we're going to say, how are these cords actually formed? What really caused these cords to be so strong, like a bond that cannot be broken, or it's difficult, or have us not being able to move on as we would like to? So we're going to look at it from a different aspect tonight. We're going to look at it from the word covenant. And if you look up the word covenant in the Oxford Dictionary, it says that a covenant is an agreement between persons. So I'm going to read exactly what I have here from the Oxford Dictionary. A covenant is an agreement or a contract between someone. So I'm going to say how are cords formed? How are these cords formed? What cords are we speaking about? Is it something I can see? So we're speaking about the cords that are more in the sense of spiritual, in the spirit realm, which exists, it is real, but you can't see it, you can't go touch it, but yet it affects in some way or the other. So is covenant a good thing or a bad thing? Covenant is a good thing, because God made covenant with Abraham. And I'm going to read in Psalms 105, just a few verses, just to share a little more insight. So Psalms 105, I'm reading from the King James Version, and it says, O ye seed of Abraham, his servants, ye children of Jacob, his chosen. He is the Lord our God. His judgments are in all the earth. He had remembered his covenant forever, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, which covenant he made with Abraham and his oath unto Isaac, and confirmed the same unto Jacob for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant, saying, unto thee will I give the land of Canaan, the lot of your inheritance. So we see that God made a covenant with Abraham and continued through Jacob and the lineage. So God is the God of covenant. He makes covenant with us. Is God making covenant today? Yes, God covenant with his people. God covenant is a promise. So he promised that he will never leave us, and he would never forsake us. So this is a promise that we have from God. It's an agreement that he would not break, because God is not slack concerning his promises. He doesn't go back on his promise. So we're looking for, in terms of severing the cords, and we're looking at it from how are these cords formed that we cannot see. So we spoke about covenants, so we got the understanding there a little more clear. And we say now, how are covenants made? How are covenants formed? So sometimes what we do, we speak loose, or we say things sometimes without thinking of the impact or the seriousness of our words and the weight of our words. So how are covenants formed? Covenants are formed by making promises. It is formed by signing agreements that you are going to actually fulfill your part and I am going to fulfill my part. Once it is between two or more parties. So everyone has a part to play. What makes covenant lasting and enduring is because it's sealed with what? A promise. It's sealed with something is given in exchange. There is signatures. So it binds it. So that makes it legally binding and makes it stand. So it's not something you could just wake up the next day and say, okay, I want to get out of this. So there are terms and there are conditions in which the contract or the agreement must stipulate in the inception when you're actually forming the contract. So we're saying severing the cords, and we have to be mindful, as I say, sometimes how the things we say, the promises we make, are we willing to carry it out? Are we willing to keep it the way we have made it? And this is what severing the cords actually, how it affects us when we make promises, when we make covenant, and if we need to break it or come out of it, what are we going to do? So we're looking at how we make covenant. So we make covenant by words. So we say by the spoken words. For example, I love you with my whole heart. That's a covenant. I love you with my whole heart and I will always love you. I will never leave you nor forsake you. That's a promise that I will never leave you. I will never forsake you. Some people may promise, like, the first person I meet, that's going to be my husband, or that's going to be my wife. So you made an agreement there. You spoke something. So you made an agreement, and you're saying, I would come to visit you every time. So somebody might say, every time I'm in this area, I promise to come and visit you. So it's words that we would speak. So we have to be mindful that when we're making these affirmations or we're speaking words, that it's really what we want happen. So back to the first part of this video. So we spoke about severing the cords and why sever cords, so the effects of it. So sometimes you realize that you probably were in a relationship and you have no longer ties with that person. You have severed the ties in terms of maybe by signing a divorce agreement, and you realize, or you move on, and no matter how you move on, that relationship is still affecting you from moving forward. It means that to be free, you need to go to the root of the problem. So in order to be free from cords that consistently ties and binds, you need, or such a person needs to go to the root of the problem and think, why am I still thinking about this person consistently? Why are we still having fights and we have moved on? So think of certain things that is leading you to feel the way you're feeling and operate. So you come like you're emotionally trapped. That is something to look into. Severing the cords. When a cord is severed, it needs to be replaced. So it's like you cut down a tree, you replace it with a knot. So severing the cords, once you start to sever cords and you pray, Lord, whatever it is making me feel so down and out and frustrated, we get to the roots of it, then we need to ask God to remove it, sever the cords in the spirit realm, cut those ties, cut those cords of discords. Remember, we said in the first video, whatever is the name of what you're feeling and experiencing, you name it, and you ask God to deal with that for you, help you to cut that cord and replace it with what? Replacing it with love. You can replace those cords with healthy thoughts, positive words. Replace it. So that's it for tonight on Severing the Chords Part 2. See you again next time at Logos Laura. Don't forget to subscribe. Have a good night.